Yeah. Randy McKee here at Soccer 605. I'm here with Duane Kavanaugh with the high school committee for State Soccer Association. You guys have been putting a lot of work in on this, and it looks like you have some yet to go.
Oh yeah, there's still quite a bit of work yet to do. So
it sounded to me though like you were kind of in the middle of receiving and giving out a lot of good tips on how associations could approach their high schools.
Yeah, basically what we're trying to say is get everybody out there working with their associations and working with their school boards, because there's a lot of misinformation and a lot of, unclearness, I think is the best way to put it, where how to interpret certain rules and things, and a lot of it's a school issue, so helping them understand where they need to go.
Looks to me like where you are, it's almost like herding a bunch of cats, isn't it?
A little bit sometimes, yeah, because there's always different opinions on things. So
yeah, well, it sounded to me like one of the big issues is going to be funding. And every school in the state now is under some budget duress, but like we've talked so many times before about, soccer has had a fantastic model for funding their program, and that might even be a good model for some of the other activities.
Well, it's one of the things that's been talked about, is that a lot of the different states do have, pay-for-play kind of approaches to their sports. So, I don't know where South Dakota is going to end up, but, that's probably something that they'll be looking at. For soccer in particular, we have the 4 different models as far as how to, 3 of them to make the transition, 1 to stay the way you are. So it does have some options for people to look at when they talk to their school boards, for moving soccer over, that at times may make it revenue neutral for the school for a few years. So
I know in talking with Bob Lowry at High School Activities Association, he picked out Aberdeen as a wonderful model of a gradual transition.
Yeah, and luckily Aberdeen was, I think, a little ahead of the game, even maybe seeing things and being able to set that up early, where finances weren't as big an issue. But it is a nice model in that you kind of get the best of both worlds. You get your association helping to sponsor the school sport. The school gets the sport, and slowly bring it into their budget as the budgets get better, hopefully over the next 5 years. So,
talking with Greg Stone a little earlier, it kind of looked like maybe you guys are going to try to get a little more information out to the locals so they can kind of approach this thing more systematically and kind of put the spurs to the movement a little bit. Yeah,
we have different, PowerPoint displays and different things, to get out to their school boards to see what's going on. And then the other thing is, there's still questions up in the air, like transportation being one of them. Can schools allow their parents to transport? And that seems to be kind of a gray area. Some schools are doing it, some schools do it sometimes, and some schools absolutely say you can't. So, there's still a lot of things we have to find out and get worked out, but I have no doubt that it can be done. So,
well, it's still a process, and it really looks to me like like the early part of bringing anything on and making a big change. There's a lot of pain early, but it's always worth it in the long run.
Well, that's kind of what we're talking about. Is it's a process, and if you're just starting today, you're probably not going to be a 2012 participant. But if you want to be there in a year or two, it's got to get out there. The school I'm from, we've been talking about this for 5 years. So our school board's very well aware of what's going on and know what we're bringing to the table, and they're really, I think, pretty open to the idea. Where other schools, it's a new idea, and I think most people, when it comes to new ideas, the first response is no. So,
well, and it seems to me like some of the schools that are just saying no, the Sioux Falls Public Schools, Stevens, Central here in Rapid City, this is not the first time that they disagreed with everybody else and kind of pushed their weight around, but they're going to have to make a decision that affects their students too.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's where the players and their parents getting out and talking to their school board members and letting them know where they stand makes a big difference. I'm not saying go out and boycott their school board or run for school board, but helping the members know that this is something they want. I think another good model for how well communities can work is Yankton this last year with the cuts they took to their junior high school program, and that community basically came together in 3 months, funded the entire program for the year. So there are ways to do it, and if people are really viably interested in it and want it, they can get it done. So,
well, I think one of the best messages we can send out is that eventually everybody's going to have it, so you might as well do it now and not be behind, right?
That would be our hope, is that everybody wants to be first. So, and that's what we're building on. And, but we know that some people have to make that lead, and once it moves, it's kind of like a sand table. We hope it just starts to tip, and then, little by little, it all just goes over. So,
well, your efforts and your colleagues' efforts on the committee are not going unnoticed. We hope that you continue, and we hope you have a lot of success there.
I appreciate it, and I think I'm just coming on this last year. I think Rich Jensen and Janice Stabner and Denise Werner and Dave Lacombe and Tom Hilsendinger and some of these guys have been at this. Greg Stone been at this for 10 years now. So I get the benefit of everything they've done. I get to come in here and talk to your listeners and viewers. So, but there's a lot of work and there's still a lot to be done. So hopefully we can get her done the next year.
Well, keep up the good work, Duane Kavanaugh. Thanks very much for spending a few minutes with us today.
Thank you very much.